In this video, I'm going to be covering some of the key things that I've learned throughout my own experience, but also some of the key things that high organizations are doing right now. The Fortune 500 companies, the strategies that they implement into their teams in order for them to be successful year on year, to have fantastic amount of growth, to have thriving teams that are happy, and teams that employees essentially are finding more fulfillment within their jobs and they're satisfied within the roles that they're occupying, and so they add more value to the company, they add more value to their roles, and overall the company thrives and the companies grow. And we're approaching that prestigious time of the year where a lot of companies are looking towards the sales kickoffs, right? We're looking towards 2024 and how we can kick off the year in the most productive manner, in the most successful manner. And an important thing I will say is don't just give your teams high targets, especially companies working in sales. Don't just give your teams high targets, but invest in your teams. Really, really invest in your teams. Invest in their development, invest in their education, invest in the culture that will help nurture your teams to be more successful in 2024. It is a fantastic thing that I've had the opportunity to learn from a lot of multinational organizations I've worked for, startup companies that I've worked for as well. And as a consequence of 10 years experience in sales and managing sales teams also, is that the best thing that you can do going into the year to make sure that your team is successful and the company is successful is to invest in the staff, invest in the people, invest in your teams, invest in more resources to help your team grow, to help your team develop, and you will be increasing the chances of your team being successful. You increase the chances of a successful 2024. An interesting statistic, 84% of Fortune 500 companies have mentorship programs or outsourced development and continuous learning programs for their sales teams and their organizations as a whole. And as a consequence of that, 94% of employees that work for some of these large companies, that work for companies that have development programs, say they enjoy it and they would stay longer in companies that had opportunities for them to learn and grow. And this tends to be a huge challenge, and I know going into the new year may be a challenge for certain organizations, looking at where can we provide new opportunities for existing staff, right? Especially if you're occupying, sales positions, or you're a sales manager or a sales team leader. It can be difficult at times to really meet the demands of people wanting to grow in their career, people wanting, higher opportunities, especially people that have been at your organization for a number of years. They tend to desire more. So delivering more to them can be a difficult and a challenging thing. So as Fortune 500 companies do, and a lot of companies that I've worked for that I've seen successful, and those that I seen weren't so successful, or I wasn't satisfied in certain positions myself, comes down to a consequence of learning opportunities, right? If there's not learning resources within the organization, it tends to be frustrating, where you just feel you're stuck in the same job, you're doing the same thing day upon day. So organizations investing in ongoing learning, continuous learning, and also inspiring a culture of continuous learning, that people don't just settle for where they are or the experience that they have, but they can learn more. That is a fantastic strategy for your company to thrive, for your company to grow going into the new year. And for organizations that may not have that infrastructure, investing in external services or in external programs, coaching, workshops, sales development, to come into the organization is always a fantastic direction. And I think that may be one that will be able to help a lot of companies, especially the smaller companies that may not have the resources available right there and then, or the manpower as well. Outsourcing is a fantastic thing. Looking at who you can get in, who's experienced, sales trainers, sales coaches that can come in and develop, business development coaches that can come in and help your teams develop. Investing in different programs that are available also are a fantastic thing to be able to do for your organization, and for people then to develop and benefit from the job and get a higher job satisfaction going into the new year. Continuous upskilling and continuous investment in sales programs specifically is a fantastic area. Role playing early on in the year, I think, is a perfect time to sit down with the teams, assess where you are as an organization. And once those goals are developed, I think it's important then to look at, investing in your staff and putting an onus on your team and giving them that autonomy to take ownership of their own role is a fantastic strategy. is something that I've always enjoyed when I've worked for companies that had that type of strategy where you sit down at the start of the year and they're reviewing individual goals and like, what do you want to learn next? Where do you want to learn? How can we facilitate those learning opportunities? Is there external programs that you personally want to take? Or if you don't even want to go beyond that and invest externally, right? Things, and I specifically speak about the area of sales because sales is a fantastic area that I love. I have huge experience in sales and I like talking about sales as a whole. So we're going to talk in a sales position as first. And it can be a template that can be amplified and used in different areas also. But in the sales area specifically, right, as you have a sales team, I think getting the higher performers to perform role plays, to share some of their key successes from last year, their techniques that work, is always a fantastic area. So using the existing resources within the company and really distributing that, organizing in-house trainings, in-house workshops, in-house programs, and allocating free time for that as well for your staff is so important towards them getting off and starting off the year in the right direction. But it's not only a once-off thing. Maintaining that is important because there's difficult periods that will arise in the year and in the month alone, in any sales, right? Not every month is successful, smooth sailing. But in the difficult periods, if you have a breakup between maybe halfway through the month where your employees can reflect and have that time to discuss with one another and share the insights and bounce back feedback from one another and really just assess different key scenarios that they're facing. Maybe a deal that they're trying to close and it's a difficult deal and they're finding it challenging. Getting a second opinion, getting a second voice goes a long way. And it can help your organization in your strategy in terms of being able to just utilize the existing resources that are there to be able to then distribute that across the different teams. And ultimately, it might lead to a successful months. It leads to successful outcomes also. So those continuous feedbacks helps because it breaks up your organization. It breaks up your team from just being stuck in a cycle of doing the same thing over and over again because no deal is closed the same. No two deals are the same. No two clients are the same. They always vary. Scenarios change. Scenarios vary. And sometimes, it's important to break that up, that we don't get stuck in a cycle of just doing what we're accustomed to. And sales as a whole is a continuous learning experience, right? So the one way that today might not be the way that'll be working next month. You have to adapt, you have to grow, you have to change. And you can only adapt with new information. You can only grow with new information. You can only grow with practice and repetition of different scenarios. And ultimately that will lead you to be successful in your own role. And then that branches out further into the entire organization. So if you found this content very beneficial, and if you're a business or you're an individual that's looking to enhance your career in sales, you're looking to enhance your sales team as a whole, and you're finding it difficult to do so, feel free to reach out to ourselves at the archive. We have a host of experience, over 20 plus years experience within our team, working in the area of sales, business development, and mentorship and coaching as a whole. For multinationals, for startup companies, we've got quite a huge track record behind ourselves, and we're continuously helping organizations grow. We're continuously helping organizations find different ways to be more productive, to generate more sales, to increase productivity within their teams, and just increase job satisfaction as a whole for the staff. So if you find this content beneficial, I'm going to attach a link to our website, a link to our consultation page. Please feel free to reach out to ourselves, and we'll also have a free ebook on sales that anybody can download free of charge that will be able to help you develop and learn one or two key things that may be able to help you gain that extra margin, gain that extra percentage of growth towards your business, towards your own sales, and towards your life as a whole. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the next video.